Do you post the questions in the comments beforehand, or are you just gonna I figure it out when I figure it out?
Bro, I
All
already
right.
started recording.
That's great.
Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. We're here to do a fun little podcast on deck today. Sitting next to me, if you're watching the video feed, and if you're watching the audio feed, in Washington, many states away from me, is Mr. Hwansik Kim.
Hi. Hello.
But if you're watching the video feed, Kim is sitting next to me.
Yes.
In Wisconsin. Crazy. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Jeff Chang from the Great White North.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone says hello, and we've got a strange face. Who is that? Is that Joel Park from Omaha?
Yes, that'd be me.
Who is Joel Park, and why do we care what he thinks?
You don't care. Just another scrub that managed to squeak by making a GM before they raised the hit factor and changed the calculations. So
how might people already know you?
I do assist. I'm the other guy on a podcast with Cody Axon. It's called the Shoot Fast Podcast. And so maybe you've heard me there. Otherwise, just another dude. I shoot USPSA, trying to get better. That's it.
All right. Well, it's good to have you here, Joel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you guys know the rules. Everybody comes with a topic. Kim and I will share a topic today. This week in shooting, trigger warning, or maybe even a show and tell. Let's find out what we got. Mr. Jeff, I understand you are triggered by something today.
I am triggered by something today.
Well, tell us all about it, man.
So there's a set of rules that are being proposed that will go before the assembly in Thailand in October.
If you live in the U.S., this does not affect you.
Not one bit.
Not really. No. Well, it might affect you in the future if you plan to shoot outside the U.S., which you probably don't. But anyway, yes. So if you live outside the U.S., this might affect you. So tell us about this proposed rule change.
Well, it's 22 pages in length.
That sounds reasonable.
So there's a lot of changes that are happening. But the highlights and I guess the parts that trigger me most is they're finalizing production optics rules. And unfortunately, it's rules as in plural since they're looking to introduce two divisions, being production optics and production optic light.
What do you mean, like production
is it like
optics with a
dark?
light attached to the gun?
Production dark or light or
That would make more sense than what they're proposing. What they want to do is have metal guns shoot against metal guns and polymer guns shoot against polymer guns.
Well, that sounds very fair. What's the problem with that?
Well, with as many divisions we have already, that's just more dilution with divisions. So
Yeah, just water things down more. It sounds awesome.
I have a
Yep.
proposal. I think it should be steel frame against steel frame, aluminum against aluminum, and plastic against plastic. What do you say?
I think we should do that in production division too. So 6 divisions instead of 2. That sounds great.
Then you could have 20 national champions, though, right?
Yeah.
and
Sounds
world
awesome.
champions.
Yeah,
And then
world
add in the other proposed new category of super juniors, which I think is
What?
16 or
Super
15 and under would be a super junior. Then you have a lot of champions suddenly.
I could read this proposal, but it really doesn't sound like it's worth the effort.
It's 22 pages.
Do you expect this thing will, what parts of this will pass, do you reckon? Or no idea?
Unfortunately, it seems as though this 2 production optic division idea is being driven by one particular region, Germany. And they have a lot of juice behind them. So
the first thing they're going to do is shove this down Poland's throat, and then France, and then we're all fucked, right?
I mean, history will tell us that's the way it works.
I'm sorry for the German listeners. I couldn't help myself.
So
But if anybody from Syria comes, they'll be welcome to shoot any division they like in Germany, I imagine.
Oh, I'm not touching that one.
What? It's not
So
rude to
yes, this
say.
actually does have a chance of passing.
Sounds awesome. It's a great day.
Yeah.
Great day
It
for
really
shooting
is.
sport. Well, Jeff, I can't imagine why that'd make you upset. I really can't.
That and also other small but significant changes, like they're adding trigger pull weights for not just the double action first shot, but also every shot subsequently.
What'll that be? What's the proposed weight there?
I think they're saying 3 pounds.
So 5-pound double, 3-pound single. I don't know such a gun, really.
Me neither. Me neither.
When I read it, it looked like if the striker fire gun is 3 pounds and then double action has to be 5 pounds, but single action is not restricted. That's how I read it.
I actually find that to be more fair.
I mean, it does say in the rules, I'm reading right here, one of the points is if the hammer, so it refers to the hammer when they're talking about a 3-pound trigger pull. So
all right, do tell.
I don't think
what does it say?
I don't think that's a striker fire.
What's
Well, if the
verbiage?
hammer or striker registers less than 3 pounds, then it doesn't pass, basically.
For what?
That's-
Like, what's the full verbiage there?
Dude, it's long.
Okay, don't read it then.
It's a 22-page document. For those of you still with access to Global Village, it's up there.
I'm not one of those people, so. Fuck.
Yeah. And
But
other things like they
It'll
want
be
to
voted
allow.
on piecemeal, right? Like, it's a la carte. It's not all.
I would
around it.
hope it's not an omnibus kind of thing. It seems ridiculous for it to be one motion,
Yeah, well.
but that's a lot for them to go through. I don't know how they'll do it.
Well, should be awesome. Can't wait.
Yep. Kimmy, I think you'll be there. You should go attend the GA.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there in Thailand.
Live stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fascinating coverage. It's the C-SPAN of IPSC. It'd be fantastic. Who wouldn't want to watch that? All right, Joel.
This weekend shooting, I shot a ProAm match. I just posted a couple
What is a
stage.
Pro-Am match, Joel?
Yeah. So come to find out, I posted a couple stage videos on Instagram, and then I started getting messages like, "Why didn't you keep shooting after the par timer went off?" So ProAm is,
It seems like that question sort of answers itself.
I don't know, I still got a couple instant messages. So anyway, ProAm is all steel. We did 5 stages, which is 4 field courses, and the 5th one was a tiebreaker. 4 of them are going to be par time, so you'll knock down as many steel as you can within the time. And the 5th one, you're going to shoot all the steel down, which will, just as it sounds, be a tiebreaker in case of a tie. The interesting part to me is
So
that
your
it's all
score
10.
is the number of plates you shoot down.
Yes.
Okay.
The interesting part to me is it's all 10 rounds. So like open, limited, whatever division you're shooting, which makes it interesting. So
Why is that interesting to you?
because you shoot the stages differently, and because it kind of levels the playing field a bit. Like I was shooting against a good friend, Craig Tappy, who you know at GM, very like solid open division shooter, and I'm shooting against my 10-round production gun against his 2011, and like yeah, he still has an advantage, but it makes it, I think, more fair to like compete against all the divisions. In a big match, it would not. But for our local matches, that makes it fun. So
I'm not
Anyway.
understanding. So
for our open gun, for our local matches, I want the match win, right? Because it's more fun. Yeah.
I
You're
think
looking
it'd be
at me like I'm
fun to
crazy.
do that at a level 3, but that's just me. So
All right.
what I'm saying, so the divisions, I think what you're getting at is the divisions are structured differently.
Yes.
So it was, instead of open limited production single stack, it was optics and irons.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
The interesting part about the stages is you are not going to shoot everything, more than likely. So the par time's obviously going to be very tight. Maybe the top guys get to everything. Maybe like the middle of the road for skill like level might not shoot everything. So you might decide, I'm going to go to these 2 positions because there's a bunch of steel there. I think I can get more points that way. Maybe I'm going to run all the way to this end, or
So this was your club's annual Pro-Am match?
they do like 3 or 4 a year.
Okay. And the ideal, like I've set the par time for the Pro-Am before, like the proper Pro-Am, the big one.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I've helped
Yep.
out with the match
Yeah.
before, and the ideal way to set the par is for a top level guy to get a chance to take a shot at every plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have
for
the
sure.
time to take a shot, but not really anymore. Did you feel that that's how the pars were set? Because I think
Yes.
that's probably tough to do at a at a local level. You know what I mean?
Everything we set up the stage, then they have about 3 different guys look at it to establish what they think just air gunning it will be the time, and then they kind of just do an average based off of that. So yeah, I cleared 2 of the 4, and like everything has to go just right. You have to be really with it. Mag changes, like sights, everything has to be good. If you make a mistake or something, then you're probably not going to get to shoot everything. So
Okay.
like you said, to clear it, things need to be perfect.
What did you dislike about the match?
Really nothing. I really enjoy them. If I shot them
You
maybe
enjoyed
like every
setting
month.
up 40 pieces of steel every time?
I only set up 1 stage, bro. It was easy. Everybody takes a stage. No big deal.
What?
Oh, we have 5 stages, so we just do volunteer. So, 5 people volunteer to set up a stage.
No,
so
I mean like
picked,
you pick it up every time when somebody shoots it. But I imagine most people don't knock down all that many plates.
Oh, I follow you. Nope, I was thinking set up and tear down. Yes,
Yeah.
so depending on your skill difficulty, set up and resetting the stage might take a different amount of time. Yes.
All right, was this a pro-am match where it was divided between pros and amateurs, or was it just like there's 2 divisions and that's it?
2 divisions and that's it.
So it wasn't really a pro-am match.
We call it ProAm. I suppose maybe it's outlaw, but the idea.
Well, yeah, it's just like falling steel thing. All right.
Yeah.
But the pro-am element's sort of interesting, right? Because the proper match, there's, it flows a bit differently depending on if you're pro or amateur. You know what I mean?
For sure.
All right.
The interesting part also, I think, for, like you mentioned, everyone doesn't, shoot the same amount of plates, but the match flows really evenly because obviously if you knocked everything down, some people would clear it quicker, some people would take longer. So with this way, with having a par time, things move along pretty quickly. So I like that. That keeps the match moving.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting format. It isn't something I'd want to do all the time, but it's, if they had one around here, I would go do it.
I agree,
Sure.
but like for 3, I think, or maybe 4 a year, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds good. It's a good time. Banging on the steel. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Kim.
Mhm.
What have you been up to this week?
Yes, I've been in this hole. I don't know, this not a basement. I'm glad it's not a basement, but I spent some good time with Ben, and we started making some quality content for PSTG, Practical Shooting Training Group.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awesome.
It is
And-
pretty good.
Yes, especially one thing really fun was that we used multicam to create contents like training video, drill videos, shooting videos, basically. And Ben invested good money on like quality head cam and like the
I thought you were going to talk about the food we've been eating.
hot fire.
We've
But-
been eating very well with Kim here.
Yes,
I should tell you this. What day is it? We're recording this on a Thursday. When did you get here? Wednesday?
last
week?
Thursday.
Last Thursday? Okay. In the last 7 days, we've shot, I don't know, 5,000 apiece, 6,000.
Close to it.
We shot a lot of ammunition
A lot.
each. We've been on the range every day. I've sent some shit to you, Joel, to review, and
Yes.
some to you, Jeff. We have 40-ish instructional videos edited
Oh, more.
and completed, and then a
Yes.
bunch more sitting in a edit and a situation for the Practical Shooting Training Group. So we've shot a lot. We've gotten a lot done in terms of content creation, and yeah, it's been quite an interesting week. This stuff we've sent stuff to you guys, Joel. You seem like you have the most sort of tumescent erection about this situation of anybody I've sent content to.
I like it. So I like that you had longer videos. It's not just you like running a home run on this drill. Like, hey, here's distance change up. Let me slam this. Like, okay, cool. Like now go do that. Instead, it shows you like you're doing the drill, maybe a bunch of different strings, you're loading mags in between, you're talking out loud about what you're doing, which I really liked. So you're like, okay, I'm not getting the time I want on this, or this is okay, or I'm going to push here. So you're like explaining what you're doing as you're doing it, kind of get your thought process. And yeah, so I like seeing the process. It makes you more human as opposed to, I just think like, yeah, like Ben never messes up on this. When I'm in practice, I'm like, oh, you know, Ben misses the target too. Ben has trigger freeze too, or, you know, whatever. So I like seeing the process for getting better.
Yeah, we really focused on that learning experience rather than just try to make the part-time and like try to be a Superman, but
Yeah.
really tell people how we focus on learning rather than just posing kind of thing. And also we did a couple of videos. We had slow motion analysis too, and some great examples. And also when we shoot no shoots or like deltas, we show and explain why.
No shoots? What are you talking about?
No delta, no shoots. But
Yeah. So yes, that is going quite well. The website will be up and ready shortly. It will go into beta testing for a while, of which Joel and Jeff will both be beta testers, I'm sure. And then this thing will be rocking and rolling. So I don't know. It's been a very productive week for us. Like, forget about any content creation or stuff like that. Just like as shooters, I feel Kim and I have developed quite a lot
yeah,
in the last week. So I've really had a great time shooting with OneSec. I've learned a lot.
I learned a lot too.
Well, you learned mostly what not to do, but I learned other things. So any questions about that, guys? Yeah, I mean, you guys have both seen some stuff. If you have any comments, anything you've been seeing, anything you think is coming, that'd be interesting to hear your feedback now, or not. No, nothing.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm pretty much echoing what Joel was saying. I do like that you're basically putting the viewer on the range with you guys. So it's not just like, I'm going to show you something and here's a cool video of me pulling off a drill that most people can't do. It's your process, the failures, the building it up basically, and seeing that. Most people don't get to see that of a top level shooter. So
I forgot to tell you guys. I mean, this website's not like, it's not instructional videos really. That's not really the focus. We're going to have that stuff, but like it's a lot of it's like back and forth and feedback. I made a style guide for like submitted drill videos for feedback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I shot like a sample video with we had a guy up here with us shooting. So I like shot a video like just one camera. I didn't dress it up at all, make it nice. It's just like one camera, like a phone, and I recorded a guy shooting a drill. Like this is what I want to see. If you're recording yourself shooting a drill, so like that would be helpful if somebody, you know, that people follow the style guide and they submit videos in that sort of fashion, then they can get useful feedback and analysis. So
yeah, the coaching part is definitely valuable. I think there's a lot of guys like they're the guy at their club, and so maybe they get instruction or like I took a class from you. I'm like, hey, your transitions are garbage. This has to get better. So I'm working on it. I'm like, well, I think this is better. Is it? I'm like, hey, I know you're in the middle of doing stuff, but would you look at this video and tell me if it's better or not? You know, like this gives you a platform to do that.
Yeah, that's really what I want. And then, like my real hope is once this thing's up and running, like people are putting videos up in the group, and then there's some feedback coming their way. However, we go about doing that, whether it's text form or like a long form video breakdown, whatever it is. But there's like, you see a video that somebody submits, you see the feedback, and then the shit. Like that is then becomes useful, relevant, interesting content for you. So even if you're not involved in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my hope. I think that's the way it's going to go. Shall we move on to the questions, gentlemen?
Perfect.
What we can get to. All right, first question. I've been shooting almost daily, trying to hit your 10-yard GM markers defined on page 75. I imagine he's talking about skills and drills reloaded. Okay. Do you think, aside from risk of boredom, frustration, it's worthwhile as a training goal to forego all else until I can hit, for example, the 10-yard numbers? It seems like 10 yards is an average distance you will see at any given match, and having 10 yards sorted out will have a significant impact on your scores, assuming all else is not a total cluster. Wow. Here's a good idea. Joel, you know what? I'm going to throw this to you because you're a GM. And
Oh yeah,
you understand how these things work.
paper GM. I'm hoping to upgrade
Right.
to cardboard GM at some point. Is my hope, but no, just banging away on the
Lofty
same
goals.
drill every day feels like setting yourself up for a heartbreak. I think it's more likely you're just going to end up getting frustrated, burned out. I like shifting between different drills or things I'm working on, and then when I come back to it, I notice I'm making an improvement. The other thing that I've noticed is if I keep doing something, where I have done that before, I'm like, I get this stuck in my head, like I want to make this, and I keep doing it. Sometimes I feel like improvements happen so gradually that I'm not seeing it as it's happening. And then if I step away and I'm working on some other area of my shooting, when I come back, I notice those. If I'm making sense, it seems like I wouldn't notice it as much if it was just happening so gradually. When I step away, it seems like it's like boom, this is better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would feel the same way, especially like, let's say I'm shooting standard practice setup, and from skills and drills reloaded. And I want the 10-yard numbers to be right, but I kind of want all the numbers to be where they should be in terms of speed. What you'll find is that if I'm shooting at 3 yards, so a lot of people don't like shooting at 3 yards. I don't love the idea of shooting at 3 yards as a thing to train on, but you do need to train speed shooting as well. So just going up to the 3-yard line of the targets, you're going to get pushed just in terms of gun manipulation and relaxation and being able to run the shit out of the gun up close. If you're shooting at the 25-yard line, focus is more grip, trigger control. You're not going to get pushed as hard as on the gun manipulation. 0.2 of a second or 0.3 of a second on a bobbled reload is a lot less, important at the 25-yard line than it is at the 3-yard line. You know what I mean? So different distances, kind of the focal point changes, and you will get to where you want to go at the 10-yard line faster by varying your training distance than you will by sticking at the 10-yard line, I think. And that's been my experience.
Working on everything all the time and not just putting all your eggs in one basket.
I think some guy said that once.
Yeah.
Okay. This question is probably going to be for Kim, but what is your recommendation on balancing basic strength and conditioning training versus practical shooting practice and training? Over the last year, my work situation has slowed my access to dry fire time and live fire range access. I've been commuting by airline for work. Having a dry fire rig with me is hard to do. I have over the last several months gotten back to the gym because access is easy, and frankly I was nearing the textbook definition of morbidly obese. Looking at my classifiers, I believe my pistol skills suffered, but my match placement has significantly improved. I see the light at the end of the tunnel and will be able to get to a regular schedule soon. This being said, how would you suggest I balance general training, like strength and conditioning, and pistol training? Interesting question.
Yes,
Kim,
I like the question.
What do you think?
So, beginning of the year, especially in the winter time, last winter, I did something like this. So because it's snowing and I can't really live fire out there, so I went to the gym probably 5 times a week, about an hour and a half. So at that point, last year, I shot a lot of the fundamentals drill, so I know what it feels like to shoot good, like let's say bill drill or pairs. So what I'm saying is I know what it feels like on my arm, how much tension I have, and also even if I don't have my gun on my hand, I've been doing walkthrough at matches, so I know how my fingers should align with my both hands. So if I just present it to target, or let's say to the wall at the gym without a gun, I can still feel my tension on my arm and my stance and my hand position and all that. So I went to the gym and then I started really focusing on the movements, but I'm still like stabilizing as if I'm shooting. And sometimes I video and make sure that shooting stance is at the gym at the same time. So this guy can definitely go to the gym and then do movement workout with like punching out without a gun, of course. But when he goes to live fire and dry fire, live fire, I would recommend he make sure he is really practicing the fundamentals, because you can't shoot at the gym. So definitely it's not a, it can't be a substitution, but it can definitely aid you and then help remembering all the tension, even if you're just moving around in the gym.
Yeah. So Jeff, you've been working on your fitness a bit this year, haven't you?
I have.
You're certainly looking pretty trim, pretty sexy. How do you feel that's helped your shooting?
I think it has helped a lot in terms of the movement. I mean, for me, that was never really the issue. So match performance wise, what was that?
It's more the shooting issue for you.
It's more the shooting issue. Yeah. So the movement definitely has helped. I find that I am getting out of positions faster, settling down a little faster, working on grip training as well, and that's really starting to show. But like Kimmy said, a lot of it is confirming in live fire so you know what to replicate in dry fire and other practice sessions.
Amazing. All right, gentlemen, we got to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming on. Joel, great to have you on as a first timer. Got your Practical Shooting After Dark podcast cherry popped. So, I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Jeff, thank you too. And Mr. Kim, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Signing off. Listeners, if you have a question you want the answer to, go to benstucker.com. Send me your question. We'd love to hear it. All right.